Go ahead. Hey y'all, it's Thursday, and we are going to be talking about Invincible, but not only Invincible tonight. We're going to combine both shows from Prime, two biggest shows. We're going to include The Boys in this live stream. I'm one of your hosts, the Great Grand Slam Pooba, and I'm joined with the vibrating one, Vic. Vic, what's going on, brother? How are you?
Just chilling, man. We doing good. You know, we finally consolidating our packages with Amazon and putting the show together. You know, to get the best delivery that we can have. That we can have for the audience tonight.
I do like that, how you put that all together, because it is Prime, it's Amazon, it's like we're giving you the biggest package possible.
Facts.
And I just think that's hilarious. But we're gonna start off with Invincible.
Yes, we are.
We're gonna start with Invincible, and then we're gonna talk about The Boys. I'll be honest with you, Vic. I watched both episodes, and I do sit here and go, I thought Invincible was the strongest show this of the between the both of them this week. I did enjoy what was going on here, as I am on this thing, and Mr. Cat now wants to be active. This is great. As I'm, you gotta love cats. They like to do things when you do it. Yes, they love to do things.
They want attention when you can't give it.
And now it's nothing. I am seated here ready to talk about this. But I thought Invincible was great. I enjoyed the show. I was watching it on my travels back home. It did get you pumped. It made you. I was talking about it with my mom a bit about it. She's been getting into a lot of these shows in her older years and watching these things, and we both agreed that this was a great episode. Thragg is that how you say it? Thragg. I mean, he's nothing to mess with. He is just out here representing the Viltrumites, and he is out here showing that he is a problem. I do want to talk about, and I know one of the things how our style of things is we talk about some of the big spots of the show, and I did not know how big of a threat he was. I know a lot of people who read the comics know, but did you check out like when he was winding up to punch Nolan and he had a gust of wind in his fist? And like Nolan is like being sucked in, and then he gets uppercut. I was like, "Oh, this dude is a problem. This guy's a beast." Facts. But I mean, he gave off. I would say he gave off Thanos vibes, especially in that towards the middle of the episode when he's watching the heroes battle the Viltrumites, and he's standing there with his. He gave me a mixture of two things. It is WrestleMania weekend, so I'm going to throw a little bit of wrestling terms here. He gave me a mix of Thanos and one Gunther. So it showed that he was the Reign General, if you will.
Fact City.
And if you understood all of that, we appreciate that 100%. But he showed like he was a problem. He was the one just letting everything. You could tell he was the general of this. The other Viltrumites going out there. I don't know. That fight scene for me was pretty. It was good. It was good. I know there's other words to use.
I mean, well, the beginning of it at least was genius in my opinion, because it's, you know, like Omni-Man and the rest of his crew basically put out all the stops.
Yeah.
And everybody just went straight after him. But then the way that the rest of the Viltrumites disguised themselves was pretty genius, because they disguised all themselves to be dead. And then all of a sudden, everybody's going after Thragg, and bomb. All of a sudden, it's an ambush. You know, and it was that whole thing was just nuts, man, because they just couldn't take them. They just couldn't.
No, they were. I felt like the other Viltrumites they were taken care of. They were. It was kind of either the hero might be overpowered than the other Viltrumite, or it might have been even. But Thragg was just no joke. He was someone that you was on, and even Nolan mentioned it. Omni-Man, he points out and he says over the lines like, you know, we need to stick together to take this guy on. This guy's no joke. And I also do like, I mean, just a cheap plug. We did Daredevil yesterday. We talked about the recent episode of Daredevil, and the recent episode, there was a lot of flashbacks, and I do like that I don't know, what was it, like maybe 6 to 10 minute flashback where they were talking about what Viltrumite was before Thaddeus betrayed them, and the original general. I was gonna say his father, but it's not his father. Not Tank's father, but he has a connection with him because he was his general before he became the actual leader and president of the Viltrumites. And I thought that stuff was actually pretty cool. I do like that little backstory for us who didn't know anything about him and how we got here. Nice. So I thought that was pretty. I thought that was a pretty cool. I thought that was a pretty good opening.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, but look, the majority of this was more than anything just a big battle, and I'm not gonna lie, it was an amazing match because it really was, because it just, everybody just kept coming back and forth. Now, the one thing that I'm really curious to learn more about is the poison and how that's working. Because you notice how you get your own version of white shoes, like Flossy Court. Anyway, hey.
I just got what you were talking about, because at first I didn't realize you were talking about me, and I was like, "Oh, right. Yeah.
You know Flossy Carter with the reviews. He got the white cat that's always coming.
Yeah, Mr. Well, I'm hoping that Mr. Cat can get on the level of that cat. Hopefully, he can get there to that kind of status.
I see you. What was that saying? Oh, the poison.
The poison. Yeah,
I was trying to figure out. I was wondering if they were going to hit Thragg with that. You know what I mean? Because you notice how vulnerable they became as soon as they got hit with that. Like, it was one hit. The Scourge, that's what it was, the Scourge virus. As soon as they got hit with that virus, that was the end of it. They were done, you know? And, I mean, look, not a last resort yet. That's what you're saying? Well, I mean, hey, it's clearly effective.
It is.
It's clearly effective. So, like, I'm curious to see how far they take it. Who else gets it? Because they definitely got rid of a few Viltrumites. They're not talking in the 50s now. Now they're talking in the 40s.
It's dwindling.
How many people? Yeah. So,
But not even just that was taking them out. Space Rider was taking them out too. That gun was a problem. And you did talk about,
what is in that gun?
I don't know. It's something that really just messes up a Viltrumite very well, because once they get shot, they disintegrate on the side or wherever the body part is, and they're done. It's done. I don't know. It's some kind of, I don't even want to say it's a poison, but it's something that because they don't just, and we saw it in this episode. I mean, there's other episodes too, I want to say, where when they were going through Viltrum, and they're going to the core of that planet, and they're reaching the fire and the flames, and you can see that it's sort of affecting them, but not so much where their skin is burning or anything like that. So whatever in this gun is powerful enough to penetrate them, and that's incredible.
Yeah,
because they don't just. But I gotta say, Thragg was not. I know I butchered this guy's name so many times, but Thragg, he didn't seem not affected, but he didn't seem one bit bothered. Oh, you gotta forgive, because we have the comments here, and I was not even seeing this, but we got Silhouette. So apologies, because I did not even look at the side, but we want to acknowledge you. He says, "Yo, great episode this week. Invincible first, yes." I felt like I said this man's name so wrong, but Thragg is Freddie Mercury if his Highlander song actually defines him. It's a hell of a reference. I don't get it, but it's funny as hell. I am immortal. I have inside me blood. I'm glad that you said that, because I want to talk about the real star, the real star of this show. You know who the real star of the show is? That's right, Vic. Battle Beast. I love this guy. I don't think we get enough of this guy.
Facts. Battle Beast kicking ass.
Oh,
he's loving it.
He kicks ass. I love the scene, and we're gonna see. We see you, Silhouette. We're gonna get to the whole comment thing, but I gotta talk about Battle Beast, man. Battle Beast, he got me worked up. I mean, this guy, when they said what do you think is your last meal? What would you want your last meal? And everyone's talking about what their meal would be. Oliver and Zoe, they're talking about burgers. Uh, Alan, he's an alien. He's talking about eating things that are still alive. And Battle Beast said, "What I would love for my last meal to be is the blood that chokes and suffocates me. That's the real meal right there. A great way to go out." Everyone's staring at him odd, but I'm like, I mess with this guy, and this guy gets it. Like, I think we would be buddies in real life. I don't know about the choking on blood stuff, but like he would get me worked up. Like that's the kind of stuff. I'm not gonna lie, that's an Ultimate Warrior promo when he said the blood red moon, the blood red moon.
For real. And there was nothing stopping him. Like it was just insane. Even when he got cut up. And mind you, when he got cut up, he just wanted more. But
he did.
But mind you, let's talk about the sudden death of the old man.
Oh man, let's get to it.
And that was just sad, bro. That was just sad because the last 2 episodes he was kicking ass, that old man.
Like, he was.
And he was doing so well. Hey, what's up, man? And he was doing so well. Like, I was just like, damn, bro. And the thing is, he killed them in such a like barbaric fashion.
It's Mr. Cat.
Like right after they blew up the planet, he comes through, snatches his head off. Like nothing, bro. Like nothing happened. Like there was no fight, nothing. Bomb just come through, get him, snatch his head right off, and then just held it up like a trophy.
He was holding it like how he was holding that skull, which was the skull of the previous general. I'm sorry, I can't think of his name. Begin with an A. It was like Adro or something like that. I don't remember the exact name. But yeah, no, he did that. But I was telling you a little bit. I want to say I was telling you off air. Thaddeus, that's how you say it, right? Thaddeus, because Silhouette was helping me with Thragg. But Thaddeus, I can pronounce that one. Thaddeus, though, I was looking at him and I was like, I don't really trust him too much, though. There was something going on with him where, you know, I say, if I haven't said it, I'll say it again. I haven't read the comics, so all this stuff is like I'm watching it in real time. So there's other people who read the comics and they already know what's going on. But I didn't trust him. I was starting to think like, hey, are we getting rid of Thragg because of Thragg? We'll just call him VT for Viltrumite T. We'll call him Big VT. But Big VT, we try and get rid of Big VT because you want to rule? Like, what is your game, man? So there was something about him where I didn't trust him at some point for me. So I didn't, but when they took him out, I said, well, I guess I don't have to worry about that. He's dead. They killed him. They just ripped his head off. So I thought, and I thought they did a great job too, to just show, because I think one of the things is when you watch a lot of shows and you get a villain, you don't want him to be the villain of the week, right? You never want to be that. And it showed that this guy is a real threat. Like he's a problem. He is somebody where
I mean, he's coming across as the biggest threat in the entire show.
For sure.
You know, more than the last 5 seasons. Like, for real. Like, he's 4 seasons, my bad. Like, he's just coming
good.
Like, the most, even compared to, like, all of those really big, ugly things that they fought.
Oh, yeah, no, none of them matches. They don't even match or even in the same category as Thragg. Big VT. But I thought they did a great job. They showed that even though he damages, it looked like he kills it. He looked like he kills Nolan. It looks like Mark.
I thought he killed Nolan. Mark thought he killed Nolan. And I was just like, damn, bro, that can't be the way that he goes. You know, but then for some reason Thaddeus, like he had a thought of like, yo, there's only so many of us left.
Yeah.
You know, if I kill them, then there's nothing left. Right. So, and it's crazy because the way that the show ends is very interesting because like you didn't know what he was thinking when he was holding Mark's head. But then at the very end, you kind of understood because Mark is a product of Earth, right? So we thought they were dead. They got picked up by the crew,
Yeah.
right? Now, all of a sudden, Alan is you see Alan. You saw the robes that Alan was wearing.
I love that for Alan. He's moving up in
What?
the world.
He definitely is moving up in the world, man. Straight up. And hey, he's the new robe guy. He's the new old man. And
He's a new robe guy.
yeah, bro. And now, like, he's calling the shots. But the whole point is that after the fight, all three of them are alive and well, still healing, but alive and well. But they realized that in order for the Viltrumites to increase their numbers, Mark is a perfect example of how they can do that. So for Mark to be the one to get it, that they're going to Earth, man, listen, that's crazy, bro. I wouldn't be surprised if they hide in Earth, impregnate a few people, and then increase their numbers that way, and then just make a whole bunch of marks. You know what I mean?
If I can bring wrestling into us, I think Jim Cornette would be very upset about that.
Probably.
Anissa looking at Marco Impressive may or may not see. I didn't read the comics, but there's something called YouTube, and that's going to be interesting. So all I will say, I think that's going to be interesting. He says that might be in season 6 or so, because we're in 4. So part of me thinks though they planned it in 5. I don't know for sure, so you might be on the money with 6, but I'm going to go with. I think they tease that in 5. She does something that could be adapted or not. All I'll say. I see what you mean. I know, but that's really Invincible. I mean, I know we summed it up pretty quickly, but I thought that between this and the boys, I really much enjoyed this more than the boys. I thought that they did such a great job to just hook me in. And as I was making my travels, I take a bus as I'm making my way back home, and I'm watching it, and I'm actually getting into this because I'm like, yo, someone gotta help Mark and Nolan to get this dude out of here. This dude's doing way too much, and this dude is way too powerful. I said, Space Rider, where are you? I didn't even want to ask about Oliver. And Oliver, I mean, Oliver, he sometimes get on my nerve because they'll be like, hey, don't do this on your own. You're like, no, I won't do it. And then he does it, and then he gets smoked. Good job. Smoke before 420. What a go.
No, he's stupid.
I had that one in the back pocket for a minute. And I was going to get that one.
Did.
I had that one in the back pocket. But that's as we move,
I forgot all about 420.
I had to look at the exact. Oh, it's in a few days. Wonderful.
It's Monday.
I will be coming back in New York. So
nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna just enjoy it on the cruise. Nice. Enjoy it.
See, maybe. Who knows? Who knows? But Invincible. Let's talk about the boys. Vic, I'm gonna give you the floor here first, man. What did you think about the boys?
Well, I mean, I felt like this was more of a filler episode more than anything, because it was kind of like expanding on the story arc between fathers and sons more than anything, and just expanding more on the war. Now it was a little bit of a flashback when it comes to the whole story arc with Translucent, right? Because I thought that the way that they depicted that was pretty interesting, because it kind of shows in this episode at least how far the characters have come, how much they've changed, how much all of that, and I think a lot of that is started with the death of A-Train. Right, as soon as A-Train died, now I think that a lot of them are just, especially Hugh, like he's having kind of like this come to age moment, where he just doesn't want to continue killing. He understands everything that's happening, but he doesn't want to continue the that whole situation. The situation between Soldier Boy and
Homelander.
And Homelander is very interesting because, mind you, we all thought that they killed off Soldier Boy, but then come to find out, he has this like original version of V1 that doesn't age him and keeps him young and like um and he starts learning about this where he's kind of like immortal because he's immune to whatever virus it is that they made to kill suits.
Okay.
So now that they found that out, Homelander is like doing everything in his power to try to get not listening to anybody, not listening to Sister Sage, just trying to see what he can say and who he can control in order to get this V1 or to get it recreated. Um, so this is like like that's one of the reasons I say it's filler because this whole thing is just like adding more to the story. Clearly, the whole situation between Homelander and his father is deep, at least for Homelander, because Soldier Boy clearly doesn't give a shit about it.
No,
right? He just does not at all. Um, and I find it interesting how in many ways, Homelander is just a little kid, but it's kind of weird at the same time because he ends up in a situation where he's bathing in breast milk. Like
that's what that was. Okay.
yeah, it was breast milk, like from the hospital, like and all filled into a tub. Like how much pumping and how much that shit was just crazy, bro. Like that was crazy work. And he's just laying in it, all proud of himself, like he's the man, And his father's just looking at him like, "Yo, you were just a disappointment, like you just like the worst. Like I can't believe that you my son type shit." And it got to the point where Soldier Boy even fucked the guy's girl.
Yeah, see that when you talked about disrespect and how he doesn't have no respect from Homelander, that's what I was going to get to. I was like, because I was like that. I don't even know if that's like his girl, because she even said like, "No, we never done anything. We never done anything." And you can see the father just he's such a father. He's like, "Oh, my son, so disappointed. Like this is supposed to be my kid. This is supposed to be my seed."
Facts.
I was confused for a bit because at first I didn't know if he was starting to see things because there would be moments where he's talking and then there's nobody there, but clearly these things are happening. In the opening, I did want to mention a little bit about that because I wanted you to lead the charge on this because I just wasn't really feeling this episode, and I think you summed it up very well when you said this was a filler episode rather than one of those episodes that's going to get you really pumped and excited because I felt like those first two episodes, I was like, oh man, this okay, we're on to something.
Yeah, I mean, I still think we are.
Sure.
Because there's a lot of things. There's certainly a lot of things that happen as far as like the war is going, right? But but there wasn't anything that was like big and closing and hooking into wanting to see the next episode.
No.
The last episode certainly did that because we was all wondering if what happened after Soldier Boy sat up. And mind you, their reaction to it was just insane. And that's also how we find out about the original V1.
Yeah.
So with that alone, they could just expand. They can expand this story, make it into Generation V, and mind you, this also might be the setup for that Soldier Boy
Spinoff.
Spinoff.
Oh, there's
Right?
gonna be a
I wouldn't be
spinoff.
surprised.
Okay.
No, I mean like he was talking about it, but the reality of the situation is that I wouldn't be surprised if they do that. Like have like like Captain America 1, where they go back to the 40s and
Okay. I get what you're saying.
Like that
Right,
kind of
right.
thing. I wouldn't be surprised if they do
Or
that.
they call that a prequel, like a prequel before the boys.
Exactly.
No, I get that.
Anakin Skywalker type shit. Yeah, no, I definitely think that they have the at least the audience in order to do that.
Well, Silhouette says here, say they probably would have done it, but Amazon probably told them, no, absolutely. I got to read like that. No, absolutely not for the first time. I guess they was just like, no. But, one of the things I did like, and I appreciate it because, uh, uh, just to be truthful with you guys, I started watching The Boys season 4, which is a terrible thing to start. Like, you should start with season 1, but I started on 4. So, um, I'm not so up to date like how my co-hosts are and how
Yeah,
you
there's a
guys in
lot
the
of things
chat are.
you missing out on,
Sure.
especially like even Homelander's son. The whole
Ryan,
thing with
yeah.
Homelander's son, like this, everything with him was really season 1 because he raped that girl, and then the kid comes out of it. But now the kid is bigger.
Yeah.
Um, the kid is bigger, and he's pretty much and he's fighting,
His
and he
dad.
has an opinion, and he's fighting his father, and his father's kicking his ass, and his father is like punching him senseless.
See,
You
you're
know,
being generous when you said he beat his ass. No, he dog walked that kid.
he really did,
He
bro.
did.
Like it was just
No, that
it,
kid got his. I give him props for trying. Can I just ask though, because he was on season 4, right? I was sitting there saying, when did this kid get so damn big? Like season 4 was just
facts,
last year. I'm like, when
facts.
did he get so big? Like, unless
Like
I'm missing something, maybe I'm missing something here. But I was like, that kid got big pretty damn fast.
facts.
Um,
He grew like a weed, and mind you, like
he
got,
did.
and he's got his father's powers,
He said, "Haymaker,
and and
haymaker."
the
Yeah.
thing is that like
Is he?
yeah,
Dude, look like he's 16. Really?
that's
I'm
that.
sorry. The kid looked like he looked like he's not too far from voting.
I mean, listen, maybe next season he'll already be,
Fair enough.
an adult.
Who knows? Maybe by next. Well, there won't be no next season. This is the last season. But I was gonna say if there was a next season, maybe he'd be big as Andre the Giant or something like that. Because I mean, that
Oh,
kid was that kid. No, because I didn't even recognize that kid until you saw
yeah,
the laser eyes, and that's when I
right.
said, "Oh, that's Homelander's kid," because I didn't know his name. And I, as I'm looking, I said, "Wait, wasn't he like 10 last year? When did he
Hmm.
become 17?"
Thank you.
So he got big quick. He tried to
I
stand toe to toe with his
mean,
father, which I thought was a silly thing, though. I thought that was really silly that he thought he could even stand because his father is the strongest being in this universe. Why would you even dare? But go ahead, Vic. I'm sorry. You were going to say some things.
so now look, now the other thing is that he, Ryan has a little girlfriend that that
Uh-huh.
that that wants to kill Butcher,
Oh,
and
who
Butcher
doesn't?
is basically like his stepdaddy. You know, he's his stepfather. He got love for him. They both love the same chick, and Ryan is kind of sold on it in the beginning,
Yeah.
but you know how it is. Like when a guy likes a girl, you know what I mean. All of a sudden,
Yeah, I think we all
all,
do.
all of a sudden, her favorite color is like his favorite color. You know what I mean? And
I
that's
mean,
how it's going down.
no,
And
no, no,
so Ryan is like fighting his father. But now, speaking about fathers and sons, one of the things that brought this back to previous episodes is when Huey killed Translucent, right? And I think this was season 2 that happened. But the bottom line is that all of a sudden Huey meets Maverick, right? And Maverick is the son of Translucent, and he is sold. He's he is raised basically to believe that Homelander was the one who killed his father.
right.
But slowly it gets revealed what actually happened, and suddenly he's just out for blood, trying to kill Huey, trying to kill Huey, trying to kill Huey. But then he ends up getting killed right in front of Huey, and suddenly Huey has this like come to Jesus moment where it's like, damn, bro, I just killed a whole lineage.
Of
These
this
people
family,
are gone. Like these people are gone. Like I can't be doing this no more. And to the point where Starlight is like, she's jaded as hell, but she's just happy with Huey because he just gives her hope in humanity. If that makes sense, to the point where she kisses him and she's like happy with him. You know what I mean? But they're having this moment where it's just like, damn, bro, this shit has just gone too far. This shit has just gone way, way, way too far. We need to stop this shit right now. And they're looking for a way, man. They really are. They're looking for a way. So, like I said from the beginning, like this was a lot of filler,
Yeah.
but it fills in. It gives you some flashback and some future.
And I want to say that's like a treat for you, especially if you've been watching since season one, where you can when they go back, like it all ties up, right? So I always feel like that's a treat. And you were talking about the stuff with Maverick. I was just I asked my mother to give me some notes and whatnot, but didn't have any, so maybe next week. But when we were talking about it, I was telling her a scene that I did. I did like that scene where I can't think of what the individual was who does like this and then you explode, right? I'm not too sure who that is, but um when I was done and that attack was done, and you see just explosions and you think it's Huey, but it's the invisible person. I knew off rip it was the invisible person, but still, I thought that was a really good pump fake, if you will, to make you think that it was Huey. And I kind of was hoping it was Huey because I can't stand Huey. Although I think Huey got a little bit more of a spine this season so far, where I'm just kind of like, I like him. Last season, he sat on cake and farted in it, and I immediately disliked him after that. So this one, I'm seeing a little bit more where I'm kind of like, I'm starting to kind of shift here, So I don't know. Was there anything else on the boys that you feel like we should mention or that wasn't mentioned? I know we talked about the Homelander stuff. We talked about, uh, um, his father. So, was there anything else that you think that should be mentioned about this episode?
Well, no, I mean, I'm just curious to see how much further they go because, like, they try to kill Soldier Boy.
Hmm.
They see that's not a whole situation. So, with this episode, I really think the star was the original serum, the V1, right? Because now this has just made it into a bigger story, especially when it comes to Soldier Boy. I mean, if this is the last season
Hmm.
of this, then
Yes.
there's definitely going to be a spin-off, in my opinion, because people are going to be curious about the V1 serum and everybody else that was able to get it, right? Because unless I've missed it, like as far as like Soldier Boy's crew or the people that were with Soldier Boy, like
Hmm.
I don't know who else it is, and apparently they don't age. Because look, Homelander looks older than Soldier.
He do, and he's talking about some kind of immortality now. I
Mhm.
did want to tie up because you said spinoff, and I'm glad. And I just thought, like, I wanted to say this for me. I wanted to say this earlier, but I love the connection with Gen V. I'm really more into Gen V than the boys. I've watched both seasons. I'm hoping
Mhm.
there's a season 3. I don't know if they have announced that yet, but I did like, and I can't think of the gentleman's name, but his name is Edgar something. The actor who plays him just always does such a. I love his pronunciation of words. Like when he does, he. I don't know if he does voice acting stuff, but he should because he has a really great voice.
Mhm.
Um, but I did like that connection there because he did have a spot there, and I'm pretty sure he has some other spots too on the boys. I don't really know, but I remember him from Gen V, and they were talking about some of the stuff that happened. They mentioned Monroe. Was it Monica? Was it Mariah Monroe? I forget. It was Monica. I think it was her name was Monica. That was the main character of Gen V, and I like that they mentioned that. It just made me go like, oh right, this is all connected. Um, I don't know.
Mhm.
I remember that place from the last season of Gen V, and I just thought that was pretty. Maria, there we go, Maria. I gotta say, like, shout out to that show, Maria. What
Mhm.
is that? The other V1 folks will appear in the prequel, so there is going to be a prequel. I think that's cool.
Yeah,
They give me enough time to really try to catch up to all these other
that's
seasons.
that's what I'm saying. Like even Silhouette animated knows like there's definitely gonna be more to this.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like I as far as like the boys, the original show might be done, but there's definitely gonna be a lot more to this. Like this is giving power. You know how Power had his main show, and then all of a sudden there's all these other shows. That's
Oh
what this is.
yeah.
This is. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes to that level.
Well, I kind of like things like that because they're creating a universe like that. So I think that's
Mm-hmm.
cool, and I think
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of people who want more of the boys. They want
Yes.
more of what is going on. And I think,
Yes.
you said power. I thought about The Walking Dead because The Walking Dead, don't they have like 2, 3 different spinoffs or something like that? I know they have a few spinoffs.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
I
and that's
never
mind
mind.
you, The Walking Dead's been around, I think, almost 20 years, like that whole story arc.
No way. Yeah.
I could be wrong, but it's been a very long time. I remember Walking Dead DVDs,
Oh
which
God, I
doesn't
don't
seem
even
like
think
it's
that's a
that
thing
long.
anymore.
Exactly. Like nobody, you know what I mean? But like, yeah, I'm done. That's cool.
We got this coming. We're just going to highlight this and we'll call it a show. But they said they kind of
Facts.
implied Viva Gus firing that capitalism is the true villain in this Du Bois world. Right. So, and I'm assuming that you're talking about his character. What was it, Edgar? Right. I'm
Mhm.
hoping I'm saying his name right. But I did like what he was. I thought that was cool too because sometimes I think spots like that where they make sense of things and they're just like, okay, you're doing all this, and so you could do all
Mhm.
this, and and I'm glad. Thank you, Silhouette, for mentioning that. Stan Edgar, thank you, Stan. That's what his name, Stan. I remember there was an ED. It was like Edgar or something like that. But when he's mentioning this stuff and he's making the other gentleman, Mother's Milk, think about like, okay, you could kill Soldier Boy, you could do all this stuff,
Mhm.
but then there's a bigger threat than this, and I just thought that was really cool because sometimes you need that person to kind of bring that reel you in and bring in that like, hey, you do understand there's a bigger fight than what you think is in front of you, right? So I thought that was
Mhm.
cool. Silhouette said that there's a sequel series in the works called The Boys Mexico. Really?
Interesting.
Is probably where he escaped to run Vaughn. I do want to say real quick. I thought Stan was hilarious when he tried to set up the boys, and then he got caught instantly. I said, and even where I don't know if it was Frenchie or Huey, but one of them said, and they said, I knew about karma, but that was instant karma. Damn, and that was some real instant karma. So I thought that was hilarious. But
Facts.
I still stand by. I thought that the better show this weekend, or this week, I'm sorry, is Invincible. Maybe things will change next week,
Let's
but
see.
we're going to be here to review it all. We're here to review. Yesterday we did Daredevil. On Wednesdays we do Daredevil, and on Thursdays we will. I'm assuming next week we'll separate it, but for this week we decided to just put it together, just so
Mhm.
we could combine. We wanted to give you a review about it. We wanted to talk about this with you, and we hope that you enjoyed this conversation and join us next week. But next week we might separate it where we have Invincible and then The Boys. We figured that with both shows being Prime's biggest shows, that if you liked one, you like the other. So we hope that you
Facts.
enjoyed this. And if you want us to continue it like in this format, let us know in the
Mhm.
comments, or if you want us to keep it separate, we'll do that as well. Just let us know if you're watching this live, if you're watching this on the playback. Let us know how you want this to be. Cedar Superior was not here this week, but she'll be back next week, and yeah, we'll be back more Daredevil and Invincible and The Boys, and maybe possibly we might review on Prime. They're going to be having Spider-Man Noir, which looks pretty freaking cool, if you ask me.
Facts. That's
So
true.
I'm sure we're going to review it. I think when we do review it, we're going to do it in one where we're just going to combine all the episodes and talk about it. Which Spider-Man, can I just say Spider-Man is having quite the year. I mean, they
Facts.
said was Spider-Man Brand New Day this year. Next year, Beyond the Spider-Verse or Exiting the
Mhm.
Spider-Verse is next year, and this year he's going to be in black and white. And I plan on watching that. How do you plan on watching that? I'm going to watch that in black and white. You watching that in color? Because it just don't
I
feel right in color.
mean, is that even an option?
Yeah, you can watch it in black and white or in color.
Really?
Yeah,
That's interesting.
I
I
know, right?
mean, I'll probably watch it in black and white just to be nostalgic.
When Vic says that, I want you guys to know he wasn't around for the 1940s. He was just saying because TV was black and white.
No, I mean, like, no. The thing is, in the early '80s, when I
Mhm.
came around,
Sure.
there was still a lot of people that couldn't afford a color TV.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so a lot of people still had the black and white, thinking it was gonna last for a minute. you know, they thought that the color was gonna break the TVs, and the color TV was a fluke.
You know,
Look at us now.
I know, right now everything's in color. But I will admit, like sometimes when I have a moment and I'm just scrolling through something to watch, I do watch The Honeymooners, and I don't think I could ever watch that in color. There was some show and they put it in color, and I said, "This don't feel right." So I plan on watching that. Yeah, that might have been what it.
I Love Lucy. I Love Lucy went in color, and everybody's like, "Fuck this." Straight up. What is this? Wow.
So we got one. He said, Silhouette said he liked to combine reviews. So we might keep this as a thing. We'll let you know next week. And with that said, I mean, that's the show. We'll be back next week. And I mean, Vic, let's wave him by, and we'll see you guys next week for some more trios and more content here on UPRE, and also Caesar Superior's channel. Please like her channel as well. Hit that like, subscribe, and notification on both channels. Should open up with that. But we thank you guys, and we'll see you next week.
Safe, y'all.